In this video, we're going to learn how to calibrate a servo using the Servo.h library and also using the serial monitor built into the Arduino IDE. The first thing we need to do is include the Servo.h library. We then need to create an object called Servo.1. We create a string called read string. This variable will be used later on. And we create an int pos, and we at this point set it to 90. This int will change during the code. I set it to 90 to set the servo into its mid position. In the void setup, we basically need to set up the servo. So we do this by having the servo1.attach, and in the brackets we are going to tell it which pin we're going to use on the Arduino Nano. In this case it's number 4. We're also now going to, during the setup loop, move the servo to the mid position, and we do this using the servo1.write, and in the brackets we include the variable position. The final part of the setup is we begin the serial monitor, and we do this using serial.begin, and in the brackets we set the baud rate, and in this case we're going to use 9600. The very last things we do during the void setup, you'll see here we're going to use a lot of serial.print followed by ln, which is new line. I also use delays to slow it down appearing on the screen when the Arduino first starts. This just gives you an explanation on your serial monitor what the code is doing and what it expects you to produce or use within the edit box. The final line here, you can see it tells you central point at 0%, and it basically uses the int variable position to tell you it should be set now to 90 degrees. And that is the void setup complete. We next move into the void loop. In the void loop we use the while serial.available char c equals serial.read. Read string plus equal c, and we delay for 2 milliseconds. This gives you time to type more characters into the input box of the serial monitor. We then have the first if statement. The first if statement is read string.length, and it has to be greater than 0. If it is, it will then look at the next if statement, which it's looking to see whether it's got an X on the end, a plus or a minus. These final 3 if statements decide on how the positioning will work. If it's an X, basically what it will do, position equals read string dot to int. So whatever the value you put into the edit box, that is the position you want it to move to. If it's a plus, position equals pos plus read string to int. So if you put 5 plus, it will move the position of the servo positively by 5 degrees. And if it's a minus, it will do the same. It will move the servo by whatever the number is you put in the box, followed by the minus, to the negative value of the position. We then have the final two statements in the for loop, which is serial.print new line, and in the brackets position, so it's telling you what the position we're going to move the servo to. It will then use the servo.1write position, which moves the servo to that position. It then read string equals, and in the colons, semicolons, it has nothing, so it will clear the input box awaiting your next input, and that is how the code works. Here you can see the code is being run through, and the screen is slowly getting populated with the instructions for you to work. This is very simple to follow, and hopefully in the next one I will show you. By say 3 degrees, I will use 3 minus in this case, and press enter, and the servo has moved 3 degrees. If I wanted to move it by 50 minus, I would write 50x and press it, and the servo moved. And that is how you use the serial monitor to position the servo to fine tune it if you wanted to make your turnout open and close.